Hello, everyone. This is going to be the notes for the first chapter of Unit 3. Unit 3 is all about parallel and perpendicular lines. Today we're going to be talking about lines and angles, all right? And this first chapter is important because it's really going to be setting up the rest of the unit with its vocabulary, all right? So we're going to talk about some stuff here. Okay, some of these words you might be familiar with already. However, we're going to give it more of a precise actual geometry definition than what you maybe learned before. So the first one is parallel, all right? Lines are parallel if and only if they are coplanar, all right? They are coplanar and don't intersect. So think about, what does coplanar mean? Actually, let's say never intersect instead of don't. Coplanar means in the same plane, okay? And that's kind of important. When you're learning about parallel lines in the past, you're really only learning about them on 2D surfaces. So it makes sense why they don't need to specify coplanar. But if you're talking about a 3D realm, all right, then you could have lines that don't intersect but aren't actually parallel. And we're going to talk about in a minute what that might mean. So these lines right here, all right, could be parallel. They're running alongside each other in the same plane, all right? That's kind of the point of being parallel. The next one is perpendicular, okay? Lines are perpendicular if and only if they intersect to form 90-degree angles. So this one, this definition you should know, all right? It's the same as the perpendicular you learned before. They intersect to form 90-degree angles. So it's not just intersecting, okay? It's intersecting in a certain way. So they would need to make a perfect T, okay? And you should know that if one of the angles is 90, they're all 90, right? Because of vertical angles, that's 90, and 90 plus 90 is 180, so this is a linear pair, so that's also 90, and then vertical, that's also 90. So all four angles would be 90 degrees. Okay. C, lines are skew if and only if. So this is different, okay? Lines are skew if and only if they are not coplanar. So these lines never intersect, okay? But because they're not coplanar, we don't call them parallel, we call them skew. Now, I'm going to try and draw this. Let's see. Actually, no. Let's just look this up. Skew lines. Geometry. Can we get a good picture? No, these pictures are bad. Okay, all right, never mind. I'm gonna try and draw one. Let's see if we can do this. So I'm gonna draw a plane. All right, so what's making it skew is that they're not in the same plane. So we're gonna draw a line inside this plane, all right, and then we're gonna draw another line coming up through this plane. Actually, no, I don't need the dotted lines there. I need the dotted lines here. Okay, so what's happening here, all right, is that you have one line going horizontal with the plane. The other line is going vertical up through the plane up there at the top. All right, and so these lines are never intersecting, okay? but they're also not parallel, as you can see. So that's what skew means, would be something like that. The last one, planes are parallel, all right? Planes are parallel if they don't intersect. So that's just the easy definition for parallel planes. We don't really have a higher dimension than 3 dimensions that we need to worry about. So we don't need to have any definition like the lines being coplanar. So, man, how do you draw parallel planes? Let's try and figure this out, guys. Let's shorten this a little bit. Parallel planes, we would have something like, we'd have a plane, and then we would have another plane underneath it, maybe. And then you have to kind of imagine those 2 pieces of paper are kind of like sandwich buns, all right? Like one's hovering over top of the other. I can kind of see it if I try and think about it like that. And so those planes never intersect. They run parallel to each other forever. Okay. So those are those definitions. Today is mostly all definitions, all right, just letting you know. So the next thing, this is very important, okay? This is going to be the crutch of the whole chapter. All right, a transversal is a line that intersects 2 or more coplanar lines at different points. A transversal that intersects 2 lines creates 8 different angles. There are 4 special pairs of angles that are created, and you need to memorize these, all right? You need to study, you need to try and do whatever you can to memorize these, all right? These things that we're about to talk about. So this is a transversal, this red line, all right? It's intersecting 2 lines, all right? And you can see how it creates 8 different angles. It creates 4 angles up here, and it creates 4 angles up here, okay? And what that does is it creates 4 different angle pairs that we're about to talk about, okay? And these angle pairs are kind of what we're going to be doing for the next couple chapters. All right, the first angle pair that we're going to talk about is called corresponding angles. And this one is probably the hardest one to actually define, okay? It's basically just angles that are in the same relative position with respect to the lines in the transversal. Okay, so what does that mean? It's the angles that are in the same spot, all right, in the top line and in the bottom line, okay? So it says, using different colors, draw in and name 4 pairs of these, okay? So we're going to use red, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So this could be like angle 1, all right? So the one that would be corresponding to that would be this one right here, okay? See how they're both in the top left? That's what I mean. They're corresponding. We also have one right here, so that'd be 2, which means that corresponds to this angle, all right? Let's see, we have this one down here. We can say that is 3. So that would be this one right here, which is 7. They're both bottom left. And then finally we have bottom right, that would be 4, and this would be 8. So these are the 4 pairs of corresponding angles, okay? Make sure that you did that correctly. Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Those 4 pairs that are made, okay, are corresponding angles. And we're gonna be learning some more stuff about this later. The next one that we're gonna talk about, this one is probably the most used one. It's going to come up a lot in proofs, okay? Not just in this chapter, but in subsequent chapters as well, just giving you a heads up. That's alternate interior angles, okay? So if you know what alternate means and you know what interior means, you can kind of figure this out, but it's angles that are on alternate sides of the transversal, so that means opposite sides, all right? And between the 2 lines. So interior, right, means inside. All right, so they're in between the 2 lines. So it says name 4 pairs of these. That's actually my fault. I messed that up. This should say 2 pairs, okay? So what we're gonna do here, all right, is we're gonna label one right here. So angle 1 right there, all right? And then, so alternate interior, all right? So it's the other angle that's on the opposite side of this line. So this angle is on the left side, all right? So we want the angle that's on the right side, and that's down here, okay? So this one, I don't even know what we're doing. This would be what, angle 4 based on what we did above, and this one would be angle 6, all right? So these two angles right here are alternate interior angles, okay? We also have angle 3, and this would be like angle 5, okay? So that's the other pair of alternate interior angles. These come up a lot, all right? Just because it has to do with lines intersecting, okay? So it's kind of important to know these. So that would be angles 4 and angle 6, and then angles 3 and angle 5, okay? The next one that we're going to talk about is similar to the last one we just said, all right, except this time it's alternate, you guessed it, exterior, all right, alternate exterior angles. So it has a similar definition, all right, except it's just on the outside of the lines instead of the inside. So they're still on alternate sides of the transversal, except they're outside the two lines, all right? So for example, if this is 1, okay, that's on the outside of the two lines, right? These are the 4 interior angles, so the other 4 are the exterior angles. So we need to go opposite of the transversal. So instead of being on the left side, right, we're gonna move to the right side, but then we're gonna have to go down here, all right, to the other line. So this would be like 8, I guess, okay? So this would be an alternate exterior angles. They're on opposite sides. We also could do this one right here, that'd be 2, and this one would be like 7, okay? So those are also alternate exterior. They're on the outside, they're the 4 angles that are on the outside, and they're on opposite sides of each other. So we've got angles 1 and 8, and we've got angles 2 and 7. All right, last one. This one is easily defined by its name. Okay, its name is same side interior angles. And you guessed it, all right, it's the interior angles that are on the same side of the transversal. Okay, so you've got same side right there, and it's in between the two lines. It's on the interior. I don't know why. I must have just copy and pasted the last sentence. These also have 2, so we can name these right here. So for example, this would be angle 3. So we want to stay on the same side, all right, of the transversal and just come down here to angle 5. So these 2 would be same side interior angles, and then we could also get on this side, that'd be like 4 and like 6, okay? These are also same side interior angles. So you can see how these 4 are in between the two lines and on the same side of the transversal. So these are the last angle pairs that you need to know. We got 3 and 5, and then angles 4 and 6. So you really need to know these, all right, by heart. So I don't expect you to have them memorized by tomorrow, but like by a quiz or a test, 100%, okay? So these are all the notes that we have today. So you don't have a lot of math today. Again, first chapter in the unit is mostly just kind of naming stuff. So you guys do have a practice to do. So go ahead and start working on that. See if you can get that finished by tomorrow, okay? And if you have any questions, then we can go over it in class, all right? Yeah, so like I said, if you have any questions, bring them to class, and have a great day.